I'm feeling good, feeling great. How are you? Listen, back with another video, bro. I'm extra hyped right now because you can't tell, but your boy got somewhat of a shape up from the barber shop, man. I'm feeling extra good right now. It's crazy that a haircut will make you feel that much. I don't know why or what it does, man, but it just makes you feel like a little bit better, man. Just a little bit better. But anyway, man, I'm back. We got another video, man. 10 prehistoric creatures that might be alive today. Now, if you're new to the channel, you don't know what I'm thinking right now. But if you've been around for a while, y'all automatically know what I'm thinking right now. Yes, Megalodon. It better be in this video. I don't care. Anytime you do a prehistoric creature that might be alive today, I want to see Megalodon in this video. It's got to be there. Point blank, period. All right, so we're going to check that out as well as 10 animals who can live forever. Ever. All right? So if you're new, hit the subscribe button, man. Join the fam. And yeah, man. I'm extra hyped, man. Y'all might get like side angle shots from me today. I might be doing, certain poses, jailhouse poses. I might get low. I don't know, man. You just feel a little bit better, man, when you got the nice cut. You smooth a little bit. You know what I mean? But I can't go nowhere, so I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the video.
Life on Earth goes through a cycle of evolution and extinction. That's just how the world works. However, dominant a species might be today, chances are it will be long gone in a few million years. Yet some creatures defy the odds and live through the various mass extinctions that have happened throughout prehistory and are still alive today. So, there's no reason why these creatures on our list couldn't have done the same. Today we're going to be looking at 10 prehistoric creatures that might still be alive to this very day. Do you think Nessie is just a figment of someone's wild imagination?
Loch Ness Monster is always in these videos somewhere, bro. Like, I gotta ask, man. Y'all really think he's out there? I'm not calling it Nessie, though. Loch Ness Monster is really out there. Nessie just sounds like sort of you can't give a creature like that, a mysterious creature like that, a feminine name like Nessie. You can't do it. You gotta call him Loch Ness Monster. You know what I mean? Loch Ness that's hard enough. Not Nessie. You can't do that. But y'all think he out there? I low-key think so. I think so.
Well, stay tuned till number 1, as it might just change your mind. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. The Megatherium. When you think of sloths, you likely think of small, slow-moving creatures, but in the Ice Age, there were types of sloths that had much more active and aggressive tendencies. One of the biggest among these were the Megatherium. Just how big did they get? Well, these ground sloths could actually grow up to 20 feet long, which is longer than many land creatures today, including elephants. For all that we know, the Megatherium went extinct at around 8500 BC, along with other iconic animals such as the Irish elk and the saber-toothed tiger. However, scientists now believe that this giant ground sloth survived in remote areas. While some say for another 5,000 years, but others say that they may still be roaming unexplored areas of the Amazon until today. Amazon locals often tell tales of the
It's another reason not to go to the Amazon, I'm telling y'all.
The mapinguari, which is an animal that stands over 9 feet tall with nasty claws, backward-facing feet, and an extra mouth on its belly. The terrible beastie would surely send you running for the hills if it didn't get a hold of you first. Though, if accounts of locals are to be believed, you'd likely smell it coming and have ample chance to get away because the mapinguari is said to give off a horrific scent. It's alleged to be a carnivore and has been blamed for devouring herds of cattle, but never has there been a documented assault on a human. Number 9. The Mokele Mbembe. In the swampy jungles of Western Africa, reports persist of an elephant-sized creature with smooth, brownish-gray skin, a long, flexible neck, a very long tail as powerful as a crocodile's, and 3-clawed feet the size of frying pans. Over the past 3 centuries, native pygmies and Western explorers have told how the animals feed on the nut-like fruit of a riverbank plant and keep to the deep pools and subsurface caves of waters in this largely unexplored region. Does the description sound familiar to you? Well, it should, because what you just heard is the textbook description of a sauropod. Large plant eaters with long necks and tails and tiny heads. These dinosaurs died out over 70 million years ago. But could it be possible that a certain species of sauropods survived the Great Extinction and continued to exist in certain unexplored regions? Sightings of this animal is prevalent in the Congo, where the legend actually started. Given the fact that 80% of the Likulu region in the northeast Congo still remains uncharted, there is a large possibility that a few of these animals still survive. Number 8. The Short-Faced Bear. The short-faced bear, also called the giant short-faced bear or the bulldog bear, was a genus of prehistoric bear which ranged across from North America from the mid-Pleistocene until at least 11,000 years ago. This creature may be one of the largest known terrestrial mammalian carnivores that has ever existed. Although generally believed to be extinct, some cryptozoologists have theorized that it may still exist in North America or Russia. Many have suggested that a number of accounts included in collections of supposed Bigfoot sightings, especially from the eastern United States, may in fact refer to surviving short-faced bears, which he notes have the limb proportions of a gorilla. These Bigfoot accounts describe much larger animals with eyes that glow in the dark. They have also been reported in sightings in Canada, particularly northern British Columbia, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. Locals in the area have been telling tales of a large bear-like animal strong enough to carry off a full-grown moose. Number 7.
See, imagine being somewhere camping and that roll up on you with the strength to carry a moose. Where you going when he grab you? Nowhere. Nowhere. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can possibly think, nothing you can say, nothing you can try to con your way up out of that. Nah. You just gotta look at him and be like, yo, man, come on, man. Please, like, you gotta start really like begging for your life.
The Megalania. The Megalania sometimes...
Everybody trying to steal the name of Megalodon. Why you gotta put Mega in your name like Megalodon? Find your own name.
It's called the Giant Ripper Lizard, is a very large lizard-like creature, resembling a Komodo dragon which inhabits southern Australia. The creature has been sighted many times in the last century, with some sightings suggest that it lives also in New Guinea. During the middle of the day, a surveyor returned to his...
Is that drool on his chin?
Suggests that it lives also in New Guinea. During the middle of the day...
Or is that like some just crazy mustache or beard, I mean?
A surveyor
That's drool.
returned to his truck. Tired, he wanted nothing more than to go home. He spied what he thought was a fallen tree near his car, and blaming his fatigue for his lack of details, he climbed in his car and slammed the door. The log suddenly bolted away. It ended up being a lizard of 15 feet in length. As recently as the late 70s, there have been Megalania sightings. In July 1979, Rex Gilroy was informed of footprints of the creature found in a recently plowed field. Across the field were 30 or so tracks from what looked like an enormous lizard. Rain had ruined most of the tracks, but Gilroy was able to make a plaster cast of one that had been preserved. The footprint looked surprisingly like something that might have been made by a Megalania. Another incident includes a farmer who observed a gigantic lizard walking along one of his fields. It walked along a wire fence, so the farmer used a set of fence posts as a guide. His estimate of the beast was a length of 20 to 25 feet, which corresponds to the size of the Megalania. Number...
He just walk, bro. He just walk like you don't want no problems with him.
Number 6. The Moa. When people first arrived in New Zealand, they encountered giant wingless birds known as moas. These birds were distinct from other flightless birds, such as ostriches, emus, and cassowaries, which possessed wings, whereas moas had lost the wing bones completely. The largest moa species could reach up to 12 feet in size, larger than any other bird on the island. Due to what many believed to be overhunting by early Maori, moas became extinct somewhere between the late 1300s and early 1500s. However, in the 1840s, Australian bird painter John Gould reported seeing what he described as giant kiwis on the South Island of New Zealand that were around a meter tall and had spurred feet. Gould's spurred feet description had matched those of fossilized moa footprints found on the North Island. In 1978, a Japanese research team investigated the South Island to see if moas were still living in the area, but didn't gain any evidence of continued survival. It has been suggested that the people reporting have seen moas were exaggerating, or seeing large individuals of known birds. These include cassowary.
You gotta stop acting like they exaggerating. Just because you don't see it when you go don't mean somebody's exaggerating, fam. It's just no. Look, think about it this way. They've done a great job of hiding this many years and millions and however many hundreds of years or whatever, just because you run out there that day, you don't see them, you think, okay, nah, man, we got to figure out some type of technology. Some type of technology is needed to be able to canvas certain areas like with a fine-tooth comb and bring back some type of, you know what I mean? Some type of visual or some type of picture or video of that area where it covered and be able to see what's out there. And then you can kind of start to make guess and speculation, man. But until we have that type of technology, we won't know. It's still a lot of this earth that is just hasn't been, you know what I'm saying? We haven't explored yet.
Or emus. Others, however, still argue that some small species of moa have survived to the present. Number 5. The Tigre Dontero. The Tigre Dontero, which when translated from Spanish means tapir-eating tiger, is a cryptid cat reported from the montane forests of Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela, as well as from Paraguay at one dubious sighting. It is described as a long-fanged cat about the same size as a jaguar. This creature has long been speculated as living descendants or even a surviving species of the saber-toothed tiger. In 1975, an unusual big cat was allegedly killed in Paraguay and examined by zoologist Juan Acavar, who supposedly identified it as a living smilodon weighing 160 pounds. It also...
If anybody knows these cats exist, it's Carol Baskin.
Had 12-inch fangs. However, to avoid causing any hysteria, either Acavar or the authorities declared that it was a mutant jaguar with a jaw deformation. The fate of the body is unclear, although according to some sources, it was incinerated. Other sightings of this animal have been reported since then. The latest one in 1991, when a hunter named Tirson Sosa claimed that in the dry season, while hunting about 3 days upriver on the left bank of the Carrar River, he saw a long-fanged, short-tailed, unpatterned cat the size of a jaguar emerge from a thicket to drink from a pool of water. It appeared stealthily and vanished cautiously. Number 4. The Woolly Mammoth. Probably the poster child of the Ice Age, the woolly mammoth is an extinct relative of the elephant that lived in North America and Europe during the Pleistocene epoch until about 1700 BC. They were about 9 to 11 feet tall at the shoulder, and they had great curving tusks that they used for sweeping snow off the ground to get to the grasses and mosses on the ground that they eat. They also used them possibly for fighting, similar to modern elephants. Like musk oxen, woolly mammoths were adapted for the cold due to their long, shaggy hair covering their bodies. While generally accepted as extinct, there are claims of woolly mammoths still alive in the remote areas of the tundra of the northern hemisphere. Many Native American Indian tribes have told tales that concern the animal. The northeast Algonquians told of a great moose with a kind of limb growing between its shoulders, a fifth leg used to prepare its bed, while the Naskapi of northeastern Labradors knew of a monster with a long nose that used to hit people. Siberian tribesmen have reported a large shaggy beast to local authorities, though there has been no scientific proof. The mammoth has been sighted in Asia, South America, North America, Russia, and other places as well. Number 3. The Gigantopithecus blacki. Thousands of years ago in Asia, there lived a massive ape called Gigantopithecus blacki. It stood 10 feet tall and weighed 1,000 pounds or more. Researchers think it was something like a large orangutan, and would have lived on bamboo and other vegetation. They died off 100,000 years ago, and while it would have encountered some of our relatives, it did not live in Asia around the time modern humans moved in. Or did it? There are those who believe Gigantopithecus evolved into a mythical creature we have long been familiar with, that being Bigfoot. If Giganto began to evolve while still in Asia, it may have become more human-like. They also could have crossed the Bering Land Bridge to cross to America, the same land bridge our ancestors crossed thousands of years ago. Did ancestors of Gigantopithecus come across too, and do they live on in the forests of North America as the Sasquatch? I guess we'll have to figure it out. Now it's time for the day's best pick, which is an animal that we've honestly talked about a ton on this channel, and if it's still alive would probably be one more reason for you to fear swimming in the ocean. That being number 2. The Megalodon. Megalodon was the biggest shark ever to swim the oceans of the world, reaching lengths of 60 feet or more. It preyed on whales and other large marine mammals and would have been the apex predator of the ocean in its day. Megalodon went extinct 1.5 million years ago. probably due to changing global climate conditions, increased competition for a dwindling food supply, or a combination of both. So what makes us think Megalodon could still be alive today? Every now and then there is a report of a monster shark, bigger than the one we currently know of. We know a typical great white shark is around 16 feet in length, with the record being around 21 feet. So how then do we explain reports of a 40-foot great whites and bigger? These tales have been told as long as men have gone to the sea. In recent times, anglers have reported possible megalodon encounters in the Sea of Cortez and other areas where the ocean is deep and hard to explore. Number 1. The Plesiosaur. Plesiosaurs were marine reptiles that lived during the time of the dinosaurs. There are many different types in all shapes and sizes. The ones we are most familiar with are the long-necked, big-bodied animals with the flippers. It is widely accepted that the same mass extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs did in the large marine reptiles as well, about 65 million years ago. But there are those who think some plesiosaurs are still with us, and they have plenty of reasons to say so. Aquatic monsters matching the description of some of these reptiles have come from lakes all over the world, as well as the open ocean. This is one theory that allegedly explains the Loch Ness Monster. Because Loch Ness is connected to the ocean, the story goes that a population of plesiosaurs somehow escaped from the sea and into the confines of the lake. Some examples of plesiosaur-like creatures reported in North America include Champ from Lake Champlain and Memphrey from Lake Memphrey-Magog. Do you think that any or all these animals will be rediscovered in our lifetime? Let us know in the comment section down below. Want to watch more videos about amazing animals?
I think as time goes on and we'll actually start to see some, not most, especially in our lifetime, but as life continues to grow, some of these animals are gonna start becoming visible, man. I'm telling you.
Humans have been looking for the key to eternal life for centuries. From the first emperor of China who reportedly ingested mercury pills to various European explorers searching for the fabled fountain of youth, it seems that as humans aren't really satisfied with the time allotted to us here on Earth. Animals, however, seem to have a better grasp at immortality than we have. Today we're going to take a look at 10 animals who can live forever. Just to clarify, we're not saying that these animals are completely immortal, but rather have the chance to. That is, if they aren't eaten by...
See, when I start hearing stuff like that, animals can live forever, that made me think that as scientists, they're trying to see what gene they possess or what do they possess that maybe we could, you know what I mean, alternate and give to humans for humans to be able to sustain life. And I guarantee you it's stuff like that. We may not know about it, but it's stuff like that trying to go on.
Predators or succumb to sickness. Number 1, though, is an entirely different story, and quite possibly is the very definition of immortality, so watch out for that one. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. The Aldabra Giant Tortoise. We're starting off this list with an animal that, although not quite immortal by definition, when compared to us humans, practically lives forever. The Aldabra giant tortoise is a giant species of tortoise native to the Aldabra Islands in the Indian Ocean. It is one of the largest species of tortoise on the planet, and is also one of the world's longest living animals, with one Aldabra giant tortoise individual reaching the grand old age of 255 years old. They are very slow-growing reptiles, and often do not reach sexual maturity until they are between 20 and 30 years old. Although some individuals have been known to live for more than 250 years, scientists actually think they can easily double that number if left alone. Unfortunately, us meddling humans have encroached into their habitat. We've done some pretty...
Yeah, because we're trying to study them and see how do we get that? Even though some people, you know what I mean? A lot of people may not want to live that long. 200 years old, man. Look at their bodies. Now, what would our bodies look like? Think about that. Before you say, hey, man, I want to live till I'm 200 years old. Think about what it comes with that. Think about that.
Bad things like hunted them down and downsized their habitat and introduced pathogens that make them sick. Fortunately, they are now a protected species, and measures have been put up to make sure they live their long, slow-moving lives at peace. Number 9. Clams. Clams are just some of the most unassuming and, not to mention, some of the strangest animals on Earth. Who would have known that they would have the secret to immortality hidden inside their tough shells? Yes, certain species of clams are immortal or have extremely long lives. One species, for instance, has shown great resilience, and although they are regularly harvested for food, seems to defy the odds and just keep chugging on. The ocean quahog clam shows exceptional longevity. One specimen called Ming was estimated to live up to 507 years in the wild. One study found that in animals aged 4 to 192 years, antioxidant enzymes decline rapidly in the first 25 years. This includes the growth and sexual maturity stages, but afterwards remain stable for over 150 years. In addition, the level of oxidatively damaged proteins in the heart does not change significantly for up to 120 years of age. For real though, what does all that sciencey stuff mean? Well, in simpler terms, their physiology simply doesn't allow them to age after a certain point, keeping them forever young, at least in a clam's point of view. Number 8. Sea sponges. Contrary to what some people think, sponges are also animals, although they are always mistakenly categorized as plants. They are all immobile aquatic animals, and some have the longest lifespan of any known animal. Scientists at the Max Planck Institute for Chemistry studied the skeleton of the glass sponge found in the East China Sea and discovered that it was more than 11,000 years old. The thing is, these glass sponges can live way longer and rarely die of natural causes. This is because of one evolutionary advantage that this animal has. They are probably the most adaptable creature on Earth. Sponges can easily remold themselves according to their environment, giving them the ability to survive in even the most inhospitable conditions.
Wow.
I'm not saying that the sponge can't die. They certainly can, especially when their habitat is irreversibly destroyed, or when they are predated upon. But remove human interaction as well as predation from the equation, these hardy creatures may just go on and live forever. Possibly in a pineapple under the sea. Number 7. The Planaria. Planaria, or flatworms, are one of the most ordinary looking of animals. Yet beneath that slimy exterior lies something that we can only call a superpower. One that we thought only possible within the pages of a comic book.
I think it's like if you cut them in half, like they still keep growing and stay alive and grow another hit or something like that.
A healing factor so powerful that it rivals that of Wolverine.
Yeah.
Researchers from the University of Nottingham have demonstrated how a species of flatworm overcomes the aging process to be potentially immortal. Planarian worms have amazed scientists with their apparently limitless ability to regenerate. Researchers have been studying their ability to replace aged or damaged tissues and cells in a bid to understand the mechanisms underlying their longevity. To better understand the flatworm's immortality,
Human trials are coming soon.
we need to understand first how cells regenerate in humans and other life forms. Usually when stem cells divide to heal wounds or during reproduction or for growth, they start to show signs of aging. This means that the stem cells are no longer able to divide and so become less able to replace exhausted specialized cells in the tissues of our bodies. Our aging skin is perhaps the most visible example of this effect. Planarian worms and their stem cells are somehow able to avoid the aging process and to keep their cells dividing for an indefinite period of time. Number 6. The jellyfish. While some animals on this list become
I've never, knock on something, been stung by a jellyfish, but my days of getting in the ocean are pretty much over with though, bro. The more I watch these videos, yeah, it's over for me anyway, but I've never been stung by a jellyfish.
immortal because they basically stop the aging process after a certain point in their lives, some jellyfish approach the matter very differently. Instead of freezing the aging process, immortal jellyfish does what no other animal can do. It turns itself into a baby. The immortal jellyfish was observed by scientists to have the ability to regenerate its cells back to their original state and grow them again. In other words, this jellyfish, as its name suggests, can have infinite lives. This event occurs when something disadvantageous happens to the jellyfish, like when it senses danger or is being starved. The jellyfish simply attaches itself onto a surface, then transforms back into its polyp stage. Their immortality is not perfect though, as this ability only manifests itself after they reach sexual maturation. They can always be eaten by predators or encounter a disease while in their polyp stage. Number 5. Tardigrades. If you are a fan of the channel, I'm pretty sure you've seen this animal pop up in one of our many videos. Often in the number 1 spot, but not today though. Also known by the cuddlier name of water bears, they can survive basically everything you can subject them to, and that includes freezing them. To start with, some tardigrades can survive being frozen to negative 359 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 273 degrees Celsius. But why stop there? They can also survive being boiled, nuked, exposed to extreme pressures, and launched into the vacuum of space. Yes, you heard me right. These guys went to space without a spacesuit and survived, even the re-entry. Before you ask, no, NASA didn't send them there on purpose. They hitched a ride on the Endeavour in 2011. As we said, they're virtually immortal. So what's their secret? While there have been suggestions of the extraterrestrial kind, scientists believe the tiny invertebrates survive by entering a death-like dehydrated state known as cryptobiosis. But then again, scientists have estimated that these guys can die of old age, reaching the relatively young age of 100 years old. Well, young relative to the other animals on this list. But then again, for being so indestructible, this list would not be complete without the tardigrade. Number 4. Bdelloids. Bdelloids are freshwater zooplankton, microscopic animals that live everywhere where there is fresh water. And when I say everywhere, I really mean everywhere. These guys are considered immortal because of one trait. They can survive literally everything that you can throw at them. They've even been found in sewage treatment tanks. They can also survive nuclear blasts, extremes of temperature, and even being taken out of water. The longest time one survived in a dry environment is 9 years. For years, scientists have been befuddled by this animal's longevity. Then a recent study revealed something truly amazing. This animal has the ability to absorb the traits of other creatures, much like Rogue in the X-Men comics. Well, they don't literally absorb other creatures' powers or traits or memories like Rogue does. Bdelloids actually steal genetic material from other creatures such as fungi, bacteria, and plants. In fact, 10% of the Bdelloids' active genes have been stolen from other species, and scientists think that this is the reason behind their immortality. So less Rogue from X-Men and more Cell from Dragon Ball Z. Number 3. The tree weta. Wetas are a grasshopper-like insect that can only be found in New Zealand. They come in many different varieties, from the giant weta, a carrot-loving hellspawn as big as a gerbil and as heavy as a mouse, to a significantly smaller tree weta. But just because it's smaller doesn't mean it's any less of a weta. In fact, the tree weta may be the most amazing insect you've ever seen.
Why do you keep saying small? That somebody just had a pin next to it and it swallowed that pin pretty much.
Is because tree wetas are virtually immortal, as are many other things on this list. Tree wetas are also called zombie bugs for a reason. They can actually come back from the dead, literally.
So it's gonna be tree wetas and cockroaches that survive everything.
First off, they have a special protein in their blood that prevents it from freezing under extremely low temperatures. That's all well and good, but it means nothing if the heart and the brain of the animal gets frostbite. This is where the weta's other ability comes into play. Upon being frozen, their brains and their hearts die, but after being thawed, they begin to function again as if nothing happened. This amazing ability is...
Imagine if you had that power. Your brain could just go on sleep mode like a computer.
Currently being studied, and scientists are hopeful they can replicate the same phenomenon in humans to be used for a myriad of applications, predominantly deep space travel. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Now, due to recent global events, I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z lately. Okay, actually, I watch a lot of it in general, even if there isn't a pandemic going on. Regardless, this is today's best pick, and it's due to its ability to regenerate lost body parts, which reminds me a lot of Piccolo, or, again, Cell. The thing is, does this ability make it immortal? Number 2. Salamanders. Salamanders have the amazing ability of regrowing lost body parts. If they lose or damage a limb after being attacked by a predator, they will slowly grow the damaged area back. Some salamander species also have a defensive mechanism when under attack, that sees their tail fall off and continue wriggling in order to give themselves a chance of escape. The tail that is left also grows back over time. This amazing ability, however, doesn't make them immortal. It just makes sure that salamanders wouldn't have to go through life with a missing limb, but they can't live forever. But for a certain species of salamander, that is, this same ability allows them to have an unusually long lifespan.
A lot of people got salamanders as pets and probably don't even know that they possess that skill at all.
And blind salamanders live at least as long as most people. Adults of these species live nearly 69 years on average, with a predicted maximum age of more than 100 years, 3 times longer than related species. Number 1. The Hydra. The Hydra is a serpent-like creature in Greek mythology. It had many heads, most accounts say 9, one of them being immortal. Also, if one manages to cut off one of the mortal heads, 2 new ones will grow to take its place. Although this creature only exists in mythology, there is actually one creature that, although not a serpent, has almost the same ability of the mythological creature, earning it the same name. Hydra are a group of invertebrates that look like tiny tubes with tentacles protruding off one end. They grow only about 0.4 inches long and eat even tinier aquatic animals. According to studies, the Hydra is one of the few animals that does not show any signs of deterioration with age. Being able to continuously divide and regenerate new body cells, Hydras can basically keep themselves young for long periods of time, even until forever. Did we leave any immortal animals out? Let us know in the comment section down below. Want to watch more videos about amazing animals? Click on any of...
Listen, you may not want to live forever, but if you do, the answer to that is probably in one of these animals, bro. And I'm like I said, I'd be willing to bet anything that scientists are working diligently and hard to try to figure out, and they might already know. You know, you might find out if you got the right price, you got the right amount of money to get that type of information. But they know, trust me, they know. Listen, man. But anyway, man, y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Leave a like, share the video, subscribe, and stick around and stay tuned, man. Till the next crazy video, I'm out. Peace, y'all. Stay solid. Hey.